We start with our Newsmaker segment and look at a local institution that's been around for decades. Most people likely recognize its name, but few probably know its purpose. It's the Civic Council, founded in 1964 and comprised of some of the city's major business leaders. Here to tell us more is the council's president, who came to Kansas City about a year ago from Nashville, where he was a leader on the city's Chamber of Commerce. Mark Hill, welcome to Ruckus. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Mike. Good to be here.
Start with a simple one. How would you explain what the Civic Council is and what does the Civic Council do?
Sure. Good question. So the Civic Council is a group of CEOs that formed back in the 1960s to collectively work together on sort of difficult challenges facing the region. Over the years, it's evolved. We've now got about 75 members. It's typically the largest employers in the region, and they're working on a few long-term strategic issues that are facing our community.
What is your role? You're called the president. If I recall correctly, your predecessor was the executive director. Are you like the executive director or the president?
Yeah, it's a very similar role. The titles aren't that important, but really my job is to help make it easy for our members to engage personally in the work, in the community. And so it's identifying those opportunities and challenges that we will be working on over the next several years, or the next 5 years, and then helping our volunteers, our business leaders, be effective as they engage personally in that work.
Where does the money come from? From the people who are on the Civic Council?
Yeah, we're funded. We're a private membership organization funded by the dues of our members. And so we don't accept grants, we don't do events or sponsorships. It's a very simple revenue structure. And what that enables us to be is a little bit more independent. So we can take a longer view, we can often take difficult stands because we got financial independence to do that.
It's been my sense, Mark, that in years gone by, the Civic Council has been fairly reluctant to come out and deal with the news media and talk about its positions on key issues. Is that changing? Are you trying to change that?
You know, I will say our preference has always been to stay out of the spotlight and really kind of work behind the scenes with partner organizations to get things done. And that really comes from a knowledge and a belief that you can get more accomplished when you don't worry about being in the spotlight and taking credit. And so that's been the MO, and that continues. But I think at the same time, we're evolving to become a little bit more public-facing. When you're in the public sphere, attempting to engage on community issues, folks in the community want to know a little bit about you and kind of what you stand for and what you're working on. And so we just basically overhauled our website, and you can see our list of members and some of the things that we're working on in Kansas City.
How does somebody become a member?
It's actually sort of a two-part process. It's invitation only. We do have criteria. It is the largest employers that typically
Is that in terms of employee or an income or both?
There's both. So typically the threshold is 1,000 employees or $250 million in revenue. There are some exceptions for fast-growing companies that are headed in that direction. But really it's not only invitation only, but the member, the CEO, has to buy into the mission of the Civic Council, which is when you join the Civic Council, you're not there to represent your business interest. You're really there to work on behalf of the common good along with the other business leaders in that organization, and that's a different proposition.
Well, the Civic Council did go public in its support for the pre-K tax increase, the 3/8 of a cent sales tax increase. That was also supported by the Chamber of Commerce and the popular mayor and went down to a major defeat. How do you explain that happening?
You know, we looked at that issue for a long time. One of the things the Civic Council is known for is that we do a lot of research and investigation before we weigh in on something. We had a task force of our members that looked at the issue for 6 months. And there were pros and cons to it. It wasn't a perfect proposal, but at the end of the day, we believe this was our last best chance to get something done for early childhood in this region, which is a critical need. And unfortunately, the public wasn't ready for that particular proposal. The need's still there. So we're ready and willing to partner with organizations and school districts that might have another plan.
So it's not the last best chance, it's just a chance that was missed.
Well, we'll see. We hope there's another opportunity.
What other programs do you have at the Civic Council? Something called, is it KC Rising?
Yeah, it's really not our program, but it's a collaboration. And the chambers involve KCADC, Mid-America Regional Council, and hundreds of volunteers across the region. KC Rising really sprung out of a research report in 2014 called Prosperity to Crossroads. This is a report that Brookings and Mid-America Regional Council commissioned. And it was looking at Kansas City's economy coming out of the Great Recession. What that report basically says is that Kansas City was coming out of the recession slower than peer communities across the country. And that really galvanized some thinking and some action that became KC Rising. So with KC Rising, we're focusing on 3 economic drivers. One is ideas and innovation. Another is our traded sectors where we have an advantage, such as our architecture and construction industry or our life sciences industry. How do we grow those industries where we have a competitive advantage? And the third is human talent, which is a scarcity across the country increasingly. And so we have committees that are working on strategies in each of those three areas.
Mark, got to stop you there, out of time. Thank you very much for coming in. Enjoyed meeting you.
Thank you, Mike.
Come back.
Good to be here.
All right, that is Civic Council President Mark Hill. Now let's meet the panel and start a ruckus!